This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, and today we have another UFO kind of related interview with Viviane Chauvet, who is an author. He says she is an Arcturian hybrid avatar, which I'm gonna find out more about what exactly that is. She's owner of Infinite Healing, and she's a very successful author. So, how are you doing today?
Well, thank you for having me. Yes, there's more to me than the bio, but I'm doing good and happy to be here with you. So thank you for having me.
Yes, we'll definitely get into that. Where are you from?
Oh, I live in
For
Arizona.
as far as where you are, sorry, because I know that there's other parts to where you're actually where you say from, but sorry, where are you from?
You mean originally?
Like where are you living now is what I mean, and then you
Oh,
could
oh
say
I'm in
originally.
Arizona. I've been in Arizona for several years. I love the desert here, the land. There's something very ancient about the great energy of Arizona. I love it. Have you ever been to Arizona?
Yeah, about 6 or 7 times. I wish I could live there. If I didn't have to get a work visa because I'm in Canada, I definitely would.
Oh, you're in Canada. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I'm dual citizen. I'm American and Canadian. So this is why, for me living here, it's easy. But I've been here for over 17 years. So it's been a long time.
Yeah. And one of the fans mentions there's a wrestler named Honky Tonk Man that lives in Arizona. Very, very
Hmm.
great state. You're from Canada then, and I know that you're French, obviously. What part of Canada are you from?
I grew up in Montreal, Quebec.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in Ottawa, so I'm not too far away from where you're from.
Oh, you're not too far from where I was originally. Yes, Ottawa, Ontario. Ontario, as we know, Ontario, Quebec are two neighbors. So now I'm further. I'm on the west side of the United States. Been here
Yeah,
for a long time, so it has become my home 100% for sure.
very nice. Well, Montreal is my favorite city in Canada.
Oh,
It's a
that's
great city.
wonderful. Thank you.
So, Arcturian, for the fans that are like me, I mean, I've done a lot of UFO interviews, but I'm not. You're the first Avatar interview I've done. So maybe you could start us off explaining what that is.
I'd like to more explain about who I am. I think it's going to interweave into that question. So, the word Arcturians refer to one of the most ancient and enlightened intergalactic civilization that's been interacting with Gaia and humanity and the solar system for a very long time. So, Arcturians are known as masters of light. They have achieved ascension thousands of years ago. So they're like the Zen masters of the universe, so to speak. We're very great diplomat, great master healers of the soul. We assist many worlds to move into a higher evolutionary process. So in my case, is I am an Arcturian being. My journey began start with my Arcturian delegations, and when we monitor the timelines for Mother Gaia, and we saw that a beautiful planet and a race called the human beings were about to embark into the next level of their evolution. I chose to return to the earth in a very specific form, a hybrid human form, and I sent out an aspect of my Arcturian conscious self, my Arcturian avatar, and that a part of myself embody this physical vessel that I can be on the planet and communicate with all of you. So we have chosen this way of communicating because it is much more effective, much more direct. The level of interaction, positive influence, teachings, messages could be very much more effective this way, rather than staying in my Arcturian form and communicating through many light workers around the world who either channels, who have connections with other star beings, or work with them in partnership. So, what it means being an Arcturian avatar in a human form is that I've come from a civilization to reach this beautiful level of enlightenment, and I chose to send out an aspect of my Arcturian self directly into a body that allowed me to be here on the planet. So the frequency that we create and generate it's always more at a higher level, so we can really help people to transmute limitations, barriers, blockages, to feel like we are transmuting more and more the energy of third dimensional polarization, whether it's to belief systems, manipulation, mental construct, moving beyond the timeline, the linear timeline, and helping humanity to return to be cosmic beings that you are profoundly, but simply forgot about it. And so we're here to really support such a huge planetary endeavor that we call the reascension process. And what that means, the reascension, it means a grand return. It's a return of going back into your divinity. It's about returning into that place of being a cosmic universal being rather than to identify yourself too much with these personality and these temporary form, and then being able to help and return in that space of enlightenment. So we're here to be of service. I've been doing a lot of work for many, many years publicly, and I have traveled quite a bit also, doing lectures, giving at conferences, activations, workshop, and I'm going to be traveling more this year again. So we are definitely representing an amazing civilization, just like their Andromedans are very ancient as well. The Syrians, the ancient Pleiadians, and many other star groups that have sent many of their emissaries on the planet. So that's probably going to call upon the star seed of those who are listening to feel the calling that Mother Gaia herself is not completely your first home, that there's more to you, and this is part of what I do, bring from the knowledge of the Arcturians here.
So I've heard of the group that produces UFO content called Gaia. What you're mentioning a Mother Gaia. What is Gaia supposed to be?
Okay, beside a TV show or the TV network, you've seriously never heard of the word Gaia?
No,
Okay.
I only thought it was the TV show,
Oh,
honestly.
okay. No, no, that's a
Yeah.
great question. Thank you for asking. So, Gaia, it's another name, another way to represent the Earth, the planet Earth here. She is known as Gaia by many people worldwide. So Gaia is just another way to call upon or refer to the planet Earth, where we are in right now, this planet.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
So you're saying that you are kind of a extraterrestrial breed that has come to Earth in human form. Is that what I'm understanding here?
In a nutshell, yes.
And have you known this since you were a child?
Yes, it's another good question. So it's always been a knowingness. I know I am. And if you look at those of people who identify themselves even as star seeds, and what is a star seed is known as a soul emanation that comes from another intergalactic civilizations, whether it's to another multiverse, galaxies, whether it's another constellation. So the star seeds send out, I'll show you something, will send out a fractal of themselves that will be a representation of the energy of, let's say, Assyrians or an Andromedans or, the Vegans. And so they send out an aspect of themselves, a soul fractal, and then they come on the planet and they embody human form, meaning that the mother is pregnant to give birth to a beautiful baby, and a baby grew up, and that baby start to understand as they grow up that they're not from here. There's something profoundly different about them. There's something like a calling, almost like when you look up to the stars, there's a calling to you that you know that this planet, or also known as Gaia, it's not really your point of origination. It's not pretty much your point where you feel you more identify with. And oftentimes the star seeds or the soul emanations or soul fractals coming from other systems, they come and represent soul groups from a multitude of other beautiful enlightened civilizations are just being around the block just longer than the human race has, and they come back to bring their light, their frequency, their teaching, their knowledge, their presence. Think of it as point of anchor on the planet, and also stabilize the grid system of this planet, Gaia, on the name, and it really helps to really, actually, I would say, accelerate the awakening of overall humans who have just fallen asleep into forgetting who they are, and they think they're alone in the universe, disconnected from everything, and they live this life, and you live your life and then you move on. Well, there's so much more to you. So our presence collectively, there's so many beautiful star beings on the planet. We're here to help you remembering that you are first and foremost a divine being of light, and you too just sent a fragment of you having this personality trait, having likes and dislike, belief systems, stories, your upbringing, what you like, what you do for a living. It is just playing the part of this reality, this 3D reality. So we're here to shift that reality and helping you to feel that it is time to re-embrace your presence within a very vast, very evolved community, if you want, in the stars, well beyond the solar system, well beyond the Milky Way. And we're here to, to really support that reawakening and that start right here in your heart and accepting, is there more to me? Is it possible what you're saying? Yes, it is completely possible because we're here, and it's no longer a big secret. It's no longer part of, a big disclosure. If you look at all the great monument or architecture of your on your planet, like the Pyramid of Egypt, or in Bolivia, or the traces of the Mayan civilizations, or all these beautiful site that people discover to archaeology or been known, you know that your earth has been covered with so much history that is not being told in school, but there, yes, it is there. Look at the sacred Renaissance painting, where painters will describe flying object above their saint, or having people with halo of light, or describing different flying machines or things like that. It's all over history. So we come at a point where it's time to simply ask yourself different questions. When you talk to people that says, I know that I am a star being, and I have chose to come back in this incarnation as a human, so I can be on the planet and do more work and bring more light, help to activate the consciousness of humanity to the next level. It really has become much more of a new reality. I hope that makes sense.
It's interesting for sure, as there's some light shining into my room
I
now.
like that.
As far as an avatar, what do you mean by you're an avatar?
Well, the word avatar refers to a being who have reached a certain level of enlightenment. So if you look at who I represent and where I come from with the Arcturians, we are more than thousands and thousands of years. So we have reached a certain level of enlightenment about us, knowledge, understanding, um, how we use our mental faculties, how we have reached a level of evolution on our planet with who we are within ourselves. So I am part of that civilizations. What that means is that that avatar part of myself chose to send out an aspect of itself so I can be here and bring these very advanced frequencies. So in other words, is I had no need at a soul level to come back here and live through a human life so I can learn the lessons, clear the karma from past lives, learn what I need to do so I can evolve to the next level. Because it's all about soul evolution ultimately. I had no needs for all of this. I came back because I wanted to be more of a direct source of positive influence on the planet. And especially right now when the entire human race is really awakening globally. And if you look just in the last 4 years, it is undeniable, very palpable how much people have accelerated in their state. And those who are resisting is oftentimes more out of fear of letting go of what you think you know, and it's fear of letting go of what you think it feels safe. It's all about safety, basic needs, primal energies, instinctual energies. But when you allow yourself to take that leap forward and you start to rediscover that even within your own self, there's so much more in terms of encoding. Look at your DNA, look how your body template intelligence is. Your body is designed to heal itself. You're designed to be able to understand the language of your soul. You're designed to have these empathic responses. So the level of compassion with each other is part of your great strength. But all of these virtues and qualities have been toned down or numbed down by distractions, programming, educations, belief system, government, and all of these fun stuff that's part of the 3D matrix reality. We come and says, hey, there's more to your reality, there's more to you, there's more dimension to you. So as already a thousands and thousands of years old being who come from a civilization that is way well ahead of the curve, so to speak, in terms of evolution, well, I did brought that aspect of myself here, and it's a very selfless act to be here because it's very difficult to be on this planet and still going back to the ABCs, where in reality, I come from a place where we are really, really well advanced. So I sent out an aspect of my Arcturian avatar self as an advanced enlightened being who has sent out a soul aspect of herself in this form so I can be boots on the ground as opposed to remain in my original form and do the work differently. We have done that and we're still doing it, meaning that we are still communicating with many light workers, people who are very gifted, or natural channels, or teachers will bring also this the frequency, the knowledge to the planet. But instead of going this route, I want to be on the planet. And I know that it has a much more direct impact, and I see that a lot in so many ways and on a multidimensional level. So that's for today, right now, in this beautiful energy. That's the best way I can describe it.
Someone's asking, do you believe in Tartaria theory, in the Tartaria theory? Have you heard of this?
I never heard of this before. There's so many theory out there. Never heard of it. So,
You're talking about that we have more ways of naturally healing ourselves. How can we do that? Can you give us some examples?
mhm. Yes, yes, good question. So, the body itself, if you recognize and accept that your body is a very intelligent, holistic system that communicate with each other, meaning that all of your internal organs, your internal systems, communicate vibrationally with each other. So the state of your mind or the state of your emotion will also affect the quality of your body. So, for example, that's an example everybody can relate to is when you are stressed emotionally or you have too much on your mind. Well, most likely your GI tract will be affected. So if you have too much on your mind, it starts to feel like it's difficult to digest. You can have heartburn or, have a appetite changes, your stomach is acting up. It can be also to the intestinal tract. That's because your mental body or the energy of the mind, it's so powerful. It can be so overwhelming for the health and the balance of the body that if there's no healthy avenue to clear the mind and redirect that energy differently, then your mind has the ability to disrupt the natural balance of your body. And I see that every day in my work. That's one example. The other example is that if you go through very traumatic experience or deep emotion, that it has the ability to affect the quality of your respiratory tract, especially the upper part of your lungs, which is a classic point for grief, sadness, shock. And then, people will have asthma or chronic bronchitis and things like that. And you say, I know what's going on. It's just the way it is. This is who I am. Well, not quite. to understand what is the decoding of that body language. So you start to redirect your attention and your energy to where am I? How much energy am I putting and demanding of my body? And you start to really just harmonize yourself, pay attention, breathe deeper, feel where is my body right now? And being able to understand its needs, whether it's dietary, supplements, sleep patterns. So it really allows yourself to have a healthy outlet to release the pressure, whether it's mental, emotional, allowing you can do some tai chi. Qigong is really excellent. Taking walk outside, connect with the great system of Gaia, the earth. Feel it to your feet that you're connected to something much bigger. Feel the tree, the tree nations. Trees are living beings that communicate with each other through the root system. It's nothing mystery anymore. You can look it up online, do research on trees. There's many specialists who have proven that trees communicate through their root system. Just feel that you are part again of a very intelligent, living and breathing ecosystem. Well, that is reflecting back in your body. It's the same principle, as above, so below, from inside out. So allow yourself to have positive outlet to really release pressure, and especially with changes on what you're absorbing. And another way I would say is be mindful of what you accept as a reality in your mind. Because when you accept as a reality, become also part of your reality. That means you're going to live it, feel it, experience it, and that means even through your body. So it really is, this is no longer mystery. It's really about part of the reawakening coming through. Listen to your body, feel where are you? Where am I right now? Am I so distracted to the mind? Am I connected even to my heart? Am I even allowing myself to listen to my heart, my intuition, my gut feeling? And that's going to help already to regulate the partnership between how you spend your energy and what your body needs. So that would be a great start in that regards.
So yeah, obviously trees are living, they grow and things like this, and they can die. So what type of communication would trees have with each other through the root system, just out of curiosity?
Now, it's a beautiful curiosity. Obviously, it's a different type of communication than the verbal communication you're so used to. There's an energy transfer. There's an understanding. Think of it as almost like an essence transfer. Trees are aware of each other. They understand, they know. And like you pointed out, also that they are living beings and they grow, they expand, and eventually their essence leave the physical form and they move on. So there's the root system. It's a root of intelligence, of energy exchange. Just like within your body, your cells communicate with each other to vibration, to frequencies, to electrical impulses. And yes, and they can also alert of each other what something is shifting because vibrationally in the earth or in the soil, there's a change, whether it's an energy transfer, maybe it's through the electromagnetic field of Gaia, Mother the Earth. There's also through the environment, the way they also process oxygen. It's really about it's an energy exchange, and that energy, it's a form of communication. It's a really think of it as a very unique language of its own. So there's different way of communicating. We all heard about verbal and nonverbal communication, whether it's physical, whether it's just by your presence. It can be also what your energetic field will transfer. What trees are very sensitive and very perceptive also of changes in the environment more than of the time we do. So there's a transfer, almost like an electrical impulse or a transfer of conscious energy that is sent out a signal, and that signal carry a message that is understood because trees communicate with each other. When you start to feel and connect with just a tree, they can teach you so much and even about yourself. I communicate with trees a lot, and they understand who I am. They recognize who I am. They don't They don't really care about this physical form. They understand, they feel my energy, they can feel my presence. And it's a wonderful. Have you ever communicated with a tree yourself?
No, I actually didn't even think about trees having that type of ability ever until now.
Well, I am glad that that is opening to you, because what happened is that when you're opening yourself to the reverence of other life, a tree, a squirrel, a horse, your dog, cats, you start to really reopening. Something is reawakening inside of you. It's very healing, number one. And it's also allowing that connections that you become attuned with all sentient life. It's part of the great teachings that many masters of light and advanced enlightened interstellar group come and says, remember that if you're able to embrace and recognize your ecosystem, like trees, for example, or birds, and other life form other than what looks like human, you are reopening your faculties to be more empathic. You're reopening your faculties to understand more your true nature. So it's no longer a matter of what the mind dictate if that's true or not. It's more about how does your entire being resonate with all of it. And it's a great, great invitation right now. It's return to that part of you, return to feeling to your heart, feel how much you're truly part of this very living ecosystem of life, and your presence influence that. What you think, feel, believe, what you radiate affects everything around you. And it's really is palpable.
Someone wants to know, can we fight our decay and prevail, or is it better to accept it and be in harmony with it?
Well, it's a great question, but I like to understand to you, John, what is the word decay means so I can properly answer your question within the appropriate context that you mean it.
Yeah, I would guess like as we get older, our body starts to wear down. Obviously, there's going to come a point where we all pass away. It could probably be delayed if some of us take better care of ourselves than others. Although sometimes people that do take care of themselves pass away before others that don't for whatever reason. Their time just arrives. Um, so
Well, like,
as far as where you're from, where exactly is it you're from in the universe?
yes, so the Arcturians are a realm called Arcturus, which is also a star. From your astronomy perspective, Arcturus is known as, I think it's the fourth brightest star in your sky. It's about just average between 36 and 37,000 light years from this solar system. It is within the constellation of Bootes, which is spelled B as in boy, O T as in Tom, E S, Bootes constellation. The star of Arcturus is there, but to us, this is more than a star. It is our realm. We have just average about 12 planets and a rotation sun, so about 13 celestial body. And this is the realm where Arcturus, the Arcturians originate from. And we have been around this galaxy for a very long time. We are millions of years old. We are one of the most ancient civilizations, just like the Andromedans are very ancient, and also other civilizations. So we have seen the beginning of many other younger races coming in, rising, falling, learning from their journey, and going back again to next level evolution. And we've been helping countless of other planets and civilizations in their journey. This is part of what we do. We provide great assistance in a multitude of points in the multiverse. And then aspect of us are now focusing on the Earth, your planet, Gaia, as we know her, to really support the next level of shift. And so the Butes constellation is would be a great point of reference, and of course the star of Arcturus.
Okay, and John says he's talking about physical death.
Okay. Well, thank you, John, thank you for clarifying. So that has nothing to do with decaying or the physical body. That is simply the soul journey shifting from experiencing a biological physical form, a physical identity that you know yourself as. My name is John. Here's my story, and the soul continue to evolve beyond the physical incarnation. That is really a transformation. It really is a transformation from one physical experience to returning into pure light, because you are a soul first and foremost. You are a divine being. Your soul is endless, ageless, limitless, and it has nothing to do with what you perceive yourself as in this physical body. So if you accept that, number one, that's going to start to change your relationship between your true self at the soul level and with your body. Um, will it be a time when human beings can transform their body into a higher luminous template? Yes. But many, many, many people on the planet, or many souls on the planet, will have to go through what you perceive as death in terms of the soul release itself from the body and continue to move on. But I can tell you one thing from personal experience. I have seen personally loved ones who has gone through the physical death body process that you call and you know as, and they left their physical form and their soul continues on. And I was able to communicate with them, and I've seen how the process for them was when they moved back. The release of the identity, the release of attachment, the release of all these point of anchor and being able to move on. Yes, it is a physical, the physical body is a temporary vessel. Nonetheless, it needs to be honored. Your sacred template or your physical vessel is what holds your sacred spark of light. So there will be a time where there will be no need to shed the physical form behind, and you'll be able to transmute it into more light body. Not today, not tomorrow, not next year, but it's coming. But in the meantime, what I would say to you with love and respect, John, is honor your physical form and redefine your partnership with your body, because your body is listening to your vibration. Your body is responding to your intentions. Your body responds to your thoughts and your emotions. So you can still have quality, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
And as far as you're talking about the transferring of the soul, I assume you're going back after your body passes away to the star that you say you're from. What happens to someone like, I mean, you don't know everybody, but like when I die, who's not saying I'm a star child or anything, what would happen to someone like me, in your opinion? What are some of the chances when my time comes?
Well, it's a complex question because it really is personal to, thank you, John. It is very personal to everyone's soul journey. So I want to go before this incarnation. So before you came back in this lifetime, that you call an incarnation, right? This lifetime. Before you came back here, you were in pure form. You were that pure energy. And you said, okay, the beings of light, as a really powerful being, come and says, if you want to embrace the next level of your evolution, or being able to release or maybe clear or resolve some aspect of previous lifetime, or on a karmic level, or whatever you need to resolve or learn or experiment even, you will be given a choice in terms of what incarnation would you like to experiment, what time would you like to come back on the planet, the example of what potential life that may looks like, places, cultural backgrounds, family lineage, situations. Everything is put in place in front of you. So this is what it's called the soul design. The soul by design will choose the incarnation that will have the highest probability of supporting the soul goals or the choices that the soul will make, whether it's, let's say, to go beyond um, fear or experiencing something that is more that what you've been repeating in other lifetime. Whatever you come to do, the soul design will be determined prior to this incarnation. Once it is accepted, then there's a realignment with the lineage chosen, and then of course the process begin. And when uh, the mother is pregnant, then the soul will enter the body, and your journey begins. So, what that means is that the soul decides when you come in and when you leave this experiment. Think of it this way. I'm going to give you a very 3D example that is so easy to relate to. It really is like playing a video game. You can choose the scenario depending on whether it's Skyrim or any other games you want to think about. You can choose a scenario that you want to experiment to that game. What character do you want to be? You want to be a warrior? Do you want to be an elf? Do you want to be a wizard? Whatever you want to experiment, you choose your character, you choose all the background, and then when it's ready, which would be the equivalent of your soul design, then your character is introduced in the environment chosen, and you start to invite you chose what journey. What is it that your character in that game or that setting that you chose will experiment, go through? What is the adventure? What adventures are they going to go through? Who are they going to meet along the way? What is the purpose of their meeting? Everything is chosen as a soul design. So we always says you are here by soul design. And so how you come in, you will choose how you leave. And it's only at the soul level between the soul and the prime creator that it can be decided. No beings, no intergalactic beings, no angels, no guides can have any influence on that. It is really by the soul choice. And then the soul will decide how and when and how it serves the soul evolution. And sometimes souls go through traumatic death. We understand that. And there's a lot of help that the soul receives to allow to understand, heal, and move on. Ultimately, it's really about soul evolution. Think of it this way. Do you think you're going to be in this lifetime forever and ever? Or do you feel intuitively that there's a time frame given to you? Now, the quality of how you handle that time frame is completely up to you. How much you want to really achieve, experience, what is it that you want to implement, what is it that you want to accomplish. But the time frame is given to you. It's unique. It will never repeat itself again. That time frame or the lifetime that you have right now is unique in every way. It will never repeat itself twice. It is unique. So it is really an invitation to reflect more into your heart. What do I want to do with this lifetime that has been given? And I'm here by soul design. Can I change some aspect? Yes, you can. And it's like the video game. You can say, you know what? I've learned a lot by being a warrior. I prefer to be a healer. I'm going to change that settings. Well, you can choose to your higher self that says, okay, at this point, I choose to be more spiritual and I choose to go through by the heart. I choose to release myself from the trauma of my parents' upbringing. I no longer allow that history to define who I am. I choose again. You have the right to do that. It's part of what you sort of come to experiment. So, what we speak of is profound. And at the same time, it's very essential to return to. We are here, we're all here by soul design. I chose to be here. No matter how challenging or fun or whatever label I wanted to put it, I chose to be here and I'm very aware of this. This is why I'm embracing the work and what I've come to do. And here we are today having this conversation together.
So how do you interpret people's soul design? Because I understand that's one of the things you do.
A good question. So it's not that we interpret the soul design, is we collaborate with the higher self and we allow more that revealing of what aspect of that soul design may be for the person that we work with. How does it support them? What aspect of the soul design may be already accomplished or fulfilled? So we're supporting everyone in a very unique way in terms of from where they are on their journey. What is seemingly is blocking their pathway to move beyond a certain level. Think of it this way. When you start in school, and you start with kindergarten and you discover everything and it's playtime, then you start to move into first grade and you go like, well, that's a lot of work. I have to learn all this language and numbers and then you move on. But by the time you move on to one grade to the next, that sacred rite of passage, you have gained so much more between each level. By the time comes to sixth grade, you no longer wants to go back to the ABCs. You're ready to move on to says, okay, I'm uncertain about what seventh grade would bring me, but however, I'm going to embrace and see what's going to take me. And then by the time you do that, you move through this and then you graduate. And by the time you graduate, you are completely transformed. You're no longer the person you were at the very beginning of your journey. Well, it's something very similar.
When you are on the star, what form would you be in as far as before you came into in this human form? What would you have looked like?
Well, I was in my Arcturian form. Well, I am still am in my Arcturian form. Remember, it's only a fractal of me that is here. So I am here, but also I am back with my Arcturian self at the same time. So Arcturians, we are known as humanoid, which means we have a head, torso, arms, legs, like you would describe the humanoid, except that we don't look like humans. We're a lot taller. We're not as physical as you are. We're almost more like ethereal in terms of body structure. We have no hair at all whatsoever. There's no hair, no eyebrows, no like this. Our eyes are just bigger than the one of humans. We have other traits. We're very beautiful in our own ways. If you were to see an Arcturian in its true self, you would see how much it would look different to you. But we're still within the category of humanoid. And what it means is that there's many intergalactic groups who will be categorized as humanoid. That means that they have, the same form as you have in terms of body structure with the arms, torso, head, two legs, except that each and every one of these intergalactic groups will have different features. They're very innate to where they come from. They're very innate to the star system that evolved through, that will be very innate through and reflective of how many thousands of years they have been evolving in their body until their form will change. Um, but yeah, so we're very, very tall beings, very tall, lanky, very eloquent, very graceful. We emanate this presence, this energy, this light. And I remember when I go back and I spend some time with my group, it feels very much like home because this is who I am. This human form, it feels limiting. It feels very heavy with all these structures and being on the planet with the gravitational pull and the 3D energy. And, that's how you articulate the jaw to communicate and then chew food, digestion. It's a very different experience for sure.
So they don't chew food there. How do they nourish themselves?
No, it's more by light absorption that the body has structured. Remember that we can stay in the same body for thousands of years. So we have the ways to rejuvenate our bodies that are well beyond what you can comprehend so far, and eventually the human race will evolve to that level. But we don't need to chew or ingest the flesh of an animal or the flesh of another being to sustain your physical form. We don't do that. It's more in terms of more of a exchange of energy that we absorb, and then and there's other ways, but just to keep it simple, so we don't chew food the way you do it here. Mm.
So what's the difference between you as a human and a normal human, um, since you have this connection?
Well, it's more than the connections. Yes, I do have the connections, if you want to call it this way. I am in symbiotic communications with my intergalactic groups all the time, 24/7. It's like having like a headphone that keep the line open all the time. There's no interruptions. The feed is always there. And it's not about how what is the difference about me. It's more in terms of how my physical body was engineered. This is why the hybrid part of me is my physical form. So let's just say that I have a lot of genetic material that comes from my original star families. It was designed this way so I can have a physical vessel more adapted to stay as a clear bridge or clear conduit. And I'm designed to bring in very high level of frequencies without creating damage to the physical body, which an average human wouldn't be able to sustain the kind of frequencies. And I see that also with other channels, people who channel, let's say, the Pleiadian Council or will channel star groups. It will be very taxing on their physical body because their body is not designed to sustain this kind of frequency. My body is designed that way, and there's other differences that we will talk over time. But yes, I'm. Let's just say that I was put together in a very unique way, so I can retain that connections with my Arcturian self. In many other delegations, I work with many other groups as well as a clear, direct conduit, a bridge, if you want, between this planet and these beautiful beings.
And as far as like emotionally, how would you be different from a regular human being? Do you have any, I don't want to say special powers, but it's like, I mean, do you still have a temper and stuff, which like a more advanced being we always hear might might not get angry over silly things, or like, is there any emotional differences that you could explain to us?
In terms of receptivity, think of it this way: is that my capacity to be ultra sensitive in the sense that I am multidimensional, attuned. So I can be walking in the field and suddenly feeling life around me, consciousness, and entering into that direct communication with these frequency of these consciousness. So everywhere I travel, everywhere I am, it's like I'm decoding complexity of multi-layered of consciousness all at once. I can feel the consciousness of the planet herself. I can feel whenever I walk, either whether it's in a park or even in a store, I can tell you what a state, what's going on in here. I can decode all of my senses, or what's called your internal clairs, are all super active and they're wired on a quantum level. So I am really multidimensional, sensitive. My sensory point are super, really much super advanced that way. So it allows me then, like for example, if I work with someone and that person share with me aspect of their journey or what happened or a situation, I can send out a soul aspect of myself, or what's called a light, my light presence, in a time frame of what took place for that person, let's say 30 years ago. And I can see, feel, experiment what was happening there, bring myself back into my space and share that with the person. It's something when you take a picture. If you look at pictures of yourself or trip souvenir from trips or family pictures from 10, 15, 20 years, if you pay attention closely and you're allowing all of your internal senses to come on, you can tell exactly what was happening, where are we, and what state of emotion these people have or how you felt. I can read a picture for 20 years ago and tell you exactly what was happening there because the imprint is still there. So it's about decoding the blueprint of that picture or the decoding of the blueprint of a place, a situation. And it's make the same thing in your field. I can tell how if you are receptive, if you're not, or what's happening. I'm very attuned in many ways in that sense. So is it special to me? There's nothing special. It's simply that I'm more aware and I'm utilizing my abilities or my faculties, maybe more with more, I would say, mastery, more focus point. I know how to cultivate these frequencies. And it's something that everybody on the planet can do. You simply, again, forgot those aspects about yourself.
Now, you might not be able to answer this, but I almost died last year. I probably should have died. I came extremely close to passing away. And I still don't quite understand why I'm still around and how I survived that. It was a miracle. According to what you do, is this something that I would have, like, is it because I haven't accomplished what my my soul would have set out for this journey to have accomplished? Because to me, I just don't understand how I survived.
Can you give me a bit more detail before we dive into it? I would like to take the time and the quality of understanding what happened to you exactly. What was the circumstances beyond this near-death experience for you?
Well, I had tried to kill myself. You could see like the neck
Okay.
injury and like I won't show you my belly, but like I was going through a very bad time, but like I had actually cut my throat and I can still talk, which is also a miracle. And with the damage I did to my liver and stomach, it's just to me it's an absolute miracle that I'm still alive after that. And the bleeding went on for long enough it like ruined my house, but like that was just a horrible period. But I just don't understand how I survived something like that, like um and why I put myself through that. Like so I in my mind I'm like the only reason I survived is because I haven't accomplished something on this earth, but I'm not sure what that is yet. But I'm just wondering if you have any interpretations of that.
I want to thank you first for having the courage to ask during this interview. I want to acknowledge the hardship you went through. I can feel your heart, I can feel your energy. So I want to acknowledge you first. And doing this, I can only imagine the trauma that you went through and all of this. And of course, at the same time, as I'm opening my empathic centers, still holding you in the highest light, still holding you in your power, to feel also the trauma of what you've gone through. Many things came to me, and since you're asking, I'm happy to share with you. First, was there a possible doorway that your soul could have left? It was a possibility, but it's not part of your soul original design. And I felt that it would have created um, a hook or a karmic hook. And what I'm getting very, very clearly is at a soul level, you will have regretted it. You're going to go, ah, oh, what did I do? I know I was going through so much hardship, but now I see more. Now I understand more. And I know that there was more to come. And I interrupted that flow. That means that I felt there was a presence with you. And that presence helped you understand that if you choose to leave, it will have created more harm than good, in the sense that you will just have to come back again and do it again. So think about this way. Let's hold that space for a moment with compassion, empowerment, and strength in your heart. The lessons of you've learned to inflict such pain and damage to your body, to you, can it be potentially that you have come back not only to fulfill what your soul has come back to do in this lifetime, but also to bring such level of teaching and compassion for others who may feel that that might be the best solution? What if I just terminate my physical body and leave? It's all solution. I'm back to the light. Everything is good, right? I can just do. But it's more complex than that. What if you were meant to go through you when you went through, so you can come back, talk about it, and teach positively, be an inspiration for thousands of people, and being able to uplift the world that way? What if that was part of your soul design all along? To be able to come back, live, survive, live to tell, so you can really become an inspiration. So I'm going to inspire you beyond this beautiful time together today, beyond this call, to reflect into your heart and to your higher self. Show me, what is it that this event of near death experience, it's a miracle I survived such injuries, and yet here I am today, host of a show that reached the heart and soul of thousands. Show me a greater purpose, and how can I be of service to the light? And see what other miracles may manifest for you. I really feel that something more is revealing itself. And that's just my impression in a very short time right now. I hope that serves you well.
I appreciate the feedback. John has another question here as we almost come to an end for today. Is it necessary for, well, this kind of goes with what I was asking. Is it necessary for evil and bad experiences in our journeys as well as positive ones to make us complete?
John, I like your questions. I can tell that you're on your journey. So feel the energy. When we speak, yes, I do speak as we because I represent directly a beautiful delegation of advanced beings. We have gone through this journey. Once upon a time, we've gone through all of our mistakes and stumble into ourselves, and we have learned a great deal from our pasts. Imagine if you were part of the civilization that were thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. Would you like to come and share your wisdom with others so they can grow? Yes, of course. Is it necessary? Is it absolutely necessary to have all these heavy, denser, negative experiences to a certain degree? To a certain degree. And here's the thing, I'm going to be overreaching here, but I'm going for it. In this reality that you know as the third dimensional matrix reality, polarization, where the light and the dark coexisting with each other, like the yin and the yang, right? From that perspective, the denser field always contribute in the light. Look at the last 4 years in the planetary event that you call COVID. Terrible on many levels. Dense, dark, evil. You can use all these labels, right? At the same time, what this denser field or this very negative controlling field have created is the counter response in the light. And what do I mean by that? Is that it has shifted and accelerated the reawakening of human beings worldwide, well beyond what they were expecting. Now, today, we're having this most advanced conversation because it's going to generate positive seeds of inspiration, potential, and it's going to grow more and more and more. So, where we are today in our level of evolution as a civilization on the planet is it still necessary to go through all of this? Again, not necessarily. The dark and the light, the goal is we need to reharmonize that back to neutrality. So, in your own personal life, all the hardship, the negativity, and some evil. And I've gone through my share. Believe me, I have gone through my share. We've come to the point where you have to ask, is it still necessary for my soul growth, my evolution, or am I able to move forward beyond that paradigm of saying, with the bad comes the good, right? This is all part of what we're seeing, that the human consciousness is shifting from all of these sayings, what we call a reversal of thought system. It really is. And yes, I understand that we all gone through severe, extreme consequences, like for COVID, employment, family, situational, everything. We know that. But you have to look at a much, much bigger picture. And what we invite you to look at is any situation you went through in your life, whether it's employment, family, whether it's government, whether it's health. Look, has it contributed to today to bring you more light, more wisdom, more determination, more power? But if you still feel that what happened 4 years ago is dragging you down, it's because you need to release that and heal. Everything is designed to shift. Everything is designed. We all have gone through hardship. I don't speak about the journey of what I've gone through with the dark side. And I have had my journey more than it seems. But one thing I can tell you that every time the dark energy is put through a really huge curveball, he has double my determination of fulfilling my mission, bring more light, teaching, inspiration, and carry more light within myself. It has double my resolve. I no longer see myself as a victim or powerless or at the mercy of a higher authority. I declare that I am this very advanced being and I'm here to make a positive difference. And I continue regardless of what happened. And I understand about work and everything. Recently, my family and I lost our home. Can you imagine? And here I am today, still talking with you, standing in our light. Because what's going to happen as a result of this? Something much more, a greater design, something infinitely more positive and bigger is being created as we speak, even though we're going through hardship right now. So I hope this is an inspiration to you all. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and I appreciate it, and maybe we can talk to you again sometime. As far as your website, I'll put it on the website or put it on the screen for anyone that wants to look up your links. Very interesting stuff. I'm going to do some more research on it. Does this background, do these designs on your background have any significance?
Yes, thank you for asking. So, this design, which is my official business logo on my website, this was made by a very talented artist named Brian. It was made for me when Brian connected to my Arcturian avatar self and connected to the frequency of my being. Thank you, John. Thank you so much. So, on each side, if you see these almost like turtle shape, beautiful design, these representing an aspect of the Arcturian ships. It's our presence of our Arcturian fleet. We have a very powerful presence in the universe to our fleet. We have very advanced ship on all sizes, including mothership, planetary size ship. We're very advanced. We're very well known for our technology. The golden language, the golden symbol behind me is an aspect of the Arcturian light language. And at the bottom of the screen, at the bottom, with this beautiful in blue emanation, it's a representation of one of our main planet in Arcturus. So all of this is designed to activate everyone the way you need the most. It's also activator to light codes frequencies, helping you to support you, empower you, help you to heal, purge, reveal, open new connectors, really activate some ancient memory connectors. It is also speak of my soul journey when I chose to return to a planet where I knew that the level of consciousness and the energy would be very dense, but I want to be here. So it's also speak of that journey. And it speaks to everyone differently because it's designed that way. So thank you for asking.
Well, thank you for your time, and I'll let you close this down with whatever you want to tell the viewers.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. I want to thank you personally as a host. You've been very gracious, open. It is really, and there's been a beautiful exchange. There's a lot of frequency of healing that's been exchanged, wisdom activation, helping everyone to move beyond the difficulties, the compression of energy. Sometimes we go to compress and we stay in those energies. Today was a breath of fresh air to bring a different level of wisdom, perspective from an intergalactic group perspective. We are with you. We have been working with the Earth, known as Gaia, for thousands of years, and please know that you are walking in the presence of so many beautiful beings of light, and we are truly here to supporting you reaching your highest potential, moving beyond the limitation that's been casting you into believing that you are a simple grain of salt when you are a giant of light, truly, and we mean it. So think of us as simply a future aspect of yourself of what you can reach. So remember the truth within you, follow your heart, and know that you are truly here by soul design. So ask your heart to your higher self every day, how can I be of service to the light today? What blessing hold this day and be in your light. No fear, everyone. Let's clear that energy. Just your light. Thank you again for having me today. It's been a privilege.